between victory and defeat. And it honestly, if you want my general gut sense, reading everything, every poll, every analysis, it was funny to read good old Nate Silver, who's beloved by the liberal media so much because he picked Obama. They forget to remind you that, he was saying forever that Donald Trump was going to get crushed by Hillary Clinton. And he was spectacularly wrong, as was the New York Times spectacularly wrong, as was almost everybody in the media spectacularly wrong. And that I don't think Trump supporters are too keen on telling pollsters what they think or what they're going to do on any election day. But here's what you should assume tomorrow. Assume that what the Democrats are promising you is true. And what are they running on? Their agenda is hate Trump, investigate Trump, hopefully impeach Trump, but hide it from the American people and just stop saying it. Maxine, stop saying it. She even admits they keep telling me not to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Impeach 45. Then assume the same Democrats, notice their silence has been deafening as it relates to the caravan or immigration or border security. Well, that's straight out of the playbook of the Center for American Progress. John Podesta, he formed that group a long time ago. Get off the topic. Change topics. Don't talk about immigration. So they want to investigate. Well, what do we know? We know they want open borders. We know they want amnesty. We know they want sanctuary cities. We know they support sanctuary states. I mean, Maxine Waters literally saying this weekend she wants San Francisco values to be the values of the country, which is as radical left as you get in any part of the country. So, there is a history here. I'll go through later Trump's successes because the list is massive. But I want to first remind you, their agenda is transparent. Adam Schiff, the biggest liar in Congress, he just lies through every time he opens his mouth, he lies, but I doubt he's lying about one thing, and that is that he's going to investigate everything. I mean, as the head of the House Intel Committee, the one thing he won't do is his job, which is to keep America safe. Maxine Waters, she says, if I'm the head of the House Finance Committee, I will do to you, I pretty much assume she's talking to Wall Street, because that's what their oversight is, what you did to us. Whatever that means, sounds like revenge. So investigations, impeachment. Remember they said about the biggest tax cut in American history, the $1,000, the $2,000 that you have in your pocket every paycheck, every month, the extra money you have for your family, for savings, vacations, dinners, a better car, maybe a better house. They called it crumbs. Now they are campaigning actively and saying so, that they want the crumbs back. One of the reasons for the great economic growth we're experiencing is because the crumbs have been distributed to we the people. And we're better off as a country because of it. They want open borders, amnesty, sanctuary cities and states. And then the greatest thing is, in the final weeks leading up to this election day tomorrow, they have decided that we're just going to talk about health care. Health care? Listening to Obama talk about health care, I'm thinking, please tell me that you're not selling us keep your doctor, keep your plan, and save money again. Because we know how well that worked out for everybody. There's such a large percentage of the American public. By the way, I don't think there's any city or state that didn't pay dramatically more in spite of that promise over and over again. Now people are down to, in many cities, many counties, many towns, to one provider. That means you have no choice at all, because all the other main providers realized they can't possibly be a part of this because it's nothing but a total, complete redistribution plan. So they pulled out. And now people have one choice, not multiple choices. Keep your doctor, many lost their doctors, lost their plans, and are paying 2, 3, and 4 times more for health insurance. I just hope that, it's funny how short political memories can be. One of the fundamental questions in this election, are you better off today than you were 2 years ago? Is America better off? Is the employment situation better? Is our security better? You know, since the president's been elected, let's just compare and contrast. Obama gave us literally the lowest labor participation rate since the 70s. 13 million Americans after 8 years of Obama. That's why watching him this weekend, he is obsessed with he didn't build it. I built that. I did it. Well, he's got an 8-year track record. 13 million more Americans on food stamps. 8 million more Americans in poverty. Lowest labor participation rate since the 70s. Worst recovery since the 40s. Lowest home ownership rate in 51 years. Oh, and by the way, the guy that said that $9 trillion in debt, he was talking about debt this weekend. I'm like, holy, the audacity. $9 trillion in debt, that's irresponsible. That's unpatriotic. In 8 years, he accumulated more debt than all 43 presidents before him combined, and has the distinction of being the only president in U.S. history to never experience not 1 year out of 8 3% GDP growth. Now, what's the track record of the president? Well, since for 2 years ago, are you better off than you were 2 years? 4.5 million new jobs have been created. 4.3 million fewer people on food stamps. Another 4 million out of poverty. More Americans now employed than ever recorded before in American history. Those jobs that Obama said were never coming back in manufacturing, more than 400,000 manufacturing jobs in 2 years. And manufacturing jobs now are growing at the fastest rate in more than 3 decades. We had 4.2% GDP growth in the second quarter, 3.5% in this most recent quarter. Unemployment claims at a 49-year low. We now have more Americans, more jobs, almost 1 million more jobs than we do have people on welfare in America. You know, we have everything that we've ever wanted is now happening. Median household income has hit its highest recorded record, lowest rate ever recorded. Hispanic Americans and African Americans and Asian Americans and women in the workplace, lowest level in 65 years. Youth unemployment has hit the lowest rate in nearly half a century. Lowest employment rate ever recorded for Americans without a high school diploma. Veterans unemployment, they reached their lowest rate in 20 years. 3.9 million, 4.3 million people lifted out of food stamps. These are all promises made, promises kept. We've gotten rid of more regulations in 2 years than we did in 35 years of putting them all together. Retail sales up 6% over last year. The biggest tax cut in American history. Just look. The individual mandate, dead, gone, finished. Just totally evaporating. He opened up the Keystone Pipeline, the Dakota Access Pipeline. He opened up ANWR, single-handedly saved the coal mining industry, West Virginia and elsewhere. Regulatory relief for community banks and union banks and so on and so forth. We have literally the FDA approving more affordable generic drugs than ever before in history. Care about health care? Medicare reform to stop hospitals from overcharging low-income seniors on their drugs. The right to try legislation. If you're about to die and you want to try a certain medicine, how cool is that? Why does the government get to say you can't take that medicine, you're dying? Well, it's my body, it's my life, and maybe this is going to work. Then we haven't even talked about the Paris Accord that he killed. That was just a job killer for us. Or that, NATO allies now kicked in $70 billion more. Or the New Deal on trade with Mexico and Canada. And negotiate, moving the embassy to Jerusalem, getting rid of, now in terms of sanctions, the biggest sanctions ever on the Iranians ever. trying to protect America through a travel ban. All we want to do is vet people from countries that maybe have values that contradict our values. And we want to be sure of those things. Building the wall to the extent that they've only had $3.5 billion, they need $25 billion more. And building up our military. Do you want it to continue or not? That's up to you. I can't make you vote. I can't force you in all of these congressional districts we'll go over in the course of the program today. Here in Missouri, you will get the government. You want to elect Schumer Jr., stay with Claire McCaskill. Florida, Ben Nelson. Ben Nelson, where has he been? For 30 years in the Senate. Where has he been? Rick Scott rolls up his sleeves and helps every day. Really, you want Andrew Gillum in Florida? Marsha Bredesen caught on tape thinking the people of Tennessee are ignorant. Claire McCaskill, the same thing. Heidi Heitkamp, the same thing. I can't even understand why it's even a race out in Arizona. Martha McSally, 28 years, helping our military, 6 tours of duties in Iraq and Afghanistan. And even this weekend, Kristen Sinema would not denounce or apologize for saying it's okay to fight with the Taliban. That's what's at stake. Dean Heller's done a good job. Joe Donnelly can be beaten in Indiana. John Tester can be beaten, especially now that the Libertarian's out. It's up to you. I don't have a crystal ball. If you want to wake up Wednesday morning and hear the words Speaker-elect Pelosi, Senate Majority-elect Schumer, then don't vote or vote for a Democrat. Or you can shop.